This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
You know who I can do without? I can do without the people in the video store.
Which ones?
All of them.
This is Massive Late Fee with Mike and Mark.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my co-host Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
Not too bad.
I'm doing good. We've had a good week here. I almost called you my girlfriend, because I do the...
No need to explain.
No context. But anyone that listens to Retro Late Fee knows why. By the way, if you listen to Retro Late Fee, there's a treat for you this week, I guess. It's the 25th anniversary of when O.J. Simpson murdered his wife.
Allegedly.
So we talk about it, and we talk about the Bronco chase. O.J. Simpson's actually on Twitter, so it's so weird. He just got on Twitter.
Yeah, like yesterday, the day before, it could have been on the anniversary for all I know of the murder.
Yeah, and that's what's really weird to me is did he plan this?
Probably.
There's a video if you haven't seen it.
Though, from what evidence, he's not much of a meticulous planner.
Yeah, that's true. If you go to
off the cuff kind of guy.
He shoots from the hip with a knife.
Stabs from the...
Yeah. But if you go to, I think it's at Real OJ32 or something like that, or at the Real OJ32, something like that.
Something.
But if you go and look at his Twitter account, he has a video on there saying, that it's something like there's a lot of fake O.J. Simpson accounts out there, and I'm here. This is the real me. This is going to be the only one that's the real one. And, you'll be hearing from me soon. I've got a lot of getting even to do, which is pretty terrifying coming from O.J. Simpson.
I mean, the man has been wronged quite a few times throughout his life.
That's true. I mean, he's gotten that scrape in '94 that we're talking about on Retro Late Fee, and people have stolen from him and everything. So,
is OJ verified? Do you know?
I don't think it is. But
no, I just checked. He's not verified.
So yeah, I think
although his location is free at last.
Wow, he's free
somewhere.
At last
Martin Luther King Jr. is doing the curly shuffle.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Did you? You commented on, I believe, that Norm had something to say to OJ. Did you see that?
Yeah, I actually counted a couple times. I deleted them both because I just spelled something wrong. It was just really annoying. Mm-hmm. But my suggestion was that they do a buddy comedy that's called "The Search for the Real Killers."
Yeah. Norm was talking about golfing with OJ. And somebody said, one of the funniest lines that I heard from there was somebody said, "Be careful, Norm, because OJ's relationships usually don't end up well." And then he said, "I'm not saying he ghosts people. Well, I guess I am, but not the way that people use it nowadays." Oh, which I thought was a really good line. But yeah, so check out OJ, and we've tweeted at him a couple times since we're talking about him. On Retro Late Fee, and check those episodes out if you want to. The news...
Wait a second, hold on. I just realized that the picture OJ uses is his mugshot. Is this really him?
Well, the videos are definitely him. So
yeah, but why would he use his mugshot as his fucking Twitter picture? Hey guys, remember when I was arrested for murder?
I have no idea. He is one of the weirdest individuals I've ever seen.
I think I'm looking at the wrong... I'm actually looking at a imitation account. That's what I just realized.
Oh, okay.
This one joined in 2010, so hold on a second. Let me see if he's actually verified.
Verification check on O.J. Simpson.
No, still not verified, but not a picture of his mugshot.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while to get verified on Twitter, from what I remember.
Do you ever see... It's like Sacha Baron Cohen's show called This Is America.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Have you seen the episode where he's interviewing OJ?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's hilarious. He's like talking to him. And he's like, "Oh, OJ," and he's explaining to like this woman like by his head. He goes, "Ah, ah!" As he's making like a stabbing motion. It's really good.
I am gonna have to watch that.
And he like puts away the knives, immediately. Like, oh no, I'm gonna put these away.
Yeah, I've loved the couple episodes that I've seen of This Is America. It's hilarious. So
Yeah, I love all the characters he plays in there. They're great.
But anyway, so the news today, there's a few pieces of news that I guess are somewhat interesting. We do this for you. This is the only part of the show we do for you.
Oh, Mark, I just want to warn you ahead of time. How do you feel about playing two times in our new game? Two different.
Yeah, I could do that. I could get to those.
I have one that only has 4 clues, but if you guess this, I will probably never stop laughing.
Okay. Oh, so in the news today, Jordan Peele is debunking a popular Us fan theory. A lot of people have fan theories when it comes to Jordan Peele's 2 movies. Get Out obviously had a ton of fan theories to it, and Us does as well. He makes the movies that he makes. Although I didn't like Us nearly as much as I liked Get Out, but one thing I really like about his filmmaking is it's layered, and there's a lot of foreshadowing, illusion, stuff like that. He uses a lot of literary techniques in his filmmaking, which I appreciate. But
just real quick, the trailer for Us is so good that I don't think I want to actually watch the movie because it would ruin it.
No, I agree. I think
it looks like the best movie I've ever seen. It looks very atmospherically creepy. It just looks really disturbing. And I've read like the spoilers. I know what happens, but the preview is so good for that movie. Like, I hope there's an Academy Award type ceremony for those who cut trailers. That person should definitely win.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic trailer, and it is a really good movie. I just thought Get Out was better, but no, you probably shouldn't see it. So, the theory goes that Jason, the young kid, can sort of see through the veil and isn't quite as tethered as the other characters are, and he observes basically says you can see these moments where he's observing his mother, and he's meant to be a little step ahead of us, the most clever of us, that's sort of figuring out there's something more to Adele's story than what we see. So that was the theory, that this guy can kind of see through everything that's going on, and Jordan Peele has said no, that's not the case.
Has he said anything about the theory that I forget the young boy's name again, but that he actually was like the tethered version, or rather he had been switched just like the mother had?
No, he hasn't said anything about that, and that's also an interesting idea as well.
I feel that a lot of times the theories people come up with are better than the actual plot, like especially with like Game of Thrones, like. Mm-hmm. Series like for the book and the movie, the TV show, both of those are like the people who wrote the theories like are just so creative and they know so much about the world. It's like this is definitely better than the actual like ending we get from like the creator.
Yeah, I feel like that a lot of times. I'll read fan theories, and one of my favorite movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I know this fan theory is not true at all, but there's a fan theory that the entire movie takes place inside Cameron's head. And
yeah, I've heard that.
And the guy goes through it in very intricate detail, pointing out all these different things. And I'm like, I know this isn't true, but god damn, this is a really fun theory, and it would make the movie better, I think, if this was true.
Yeah, for sure. Even like the Stanley Kubrick theory that the Shining is has a lot of hidden references to the Apollo moon landing. That is great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, people have put a lot of work into those things. I guess if you guys could write dialogue as well, you could be screenwriters. We need them. We need more original screenwriters out there. So, figure out how to write dialogue and make some movies, because most of the movies that come out have pretty poor screenplays now. Speaking of poor screenplays. Our next bit of news...
Star Wars?
No. Almost. Our next bit of news is Adam Sandler's new murder mystery has set a box office, a Netflix record for original movies. most watched original movie on Netflix is Murder Mystery starring Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I saw that. They said that there were like the equivalent of like 30 million people who watched it this weekend, and I think the Game of Thrones finale only had 19.1 million, which is pretty insane because I'm shocked to see that so many people would be interested in an Adam Sandler movie.
Me too. His reputation has to precede him at this point.
I wonder if it's been released like worldwide as well. Maybe that would explain it. Like, I assume there's a lot of physical type comedy in there. A lot of like people shitting at each other, farts.
Exactly.
That, like, how like Mr. Bean. I don't know if our younger listeners, if there are any, know about Mr. Bean. He was like a wildly successful like character, created by Rowan Atkinson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason he didn't talk, I believe I read this, is that he thought it'd be more marketable internationally. Because if you think about it, if you don't have any speaking, it's almost universally funny, the stuff he does.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, I guess maybe that's part of it. Maybe part of it's the fact that Jennifer Aniston apparently needed a paycheck because she agreed to do this movie. I know
Wasn't she in another movie with him?
Yeah, I think it was called Just Go With It or something like that. Hey, let's pretend we're married and we're on vacation.
What's weird about Adam Sandler is like he occasionally does make a good movie, which is really like it's hard to tell. Like the Do-Over, I think it was called, with David Spade. I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, it wasn't like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it was tolerable. I've watched it a couple times, and I think we all know that I liked That's My Boy a lot, which I don't know why. It's not a great movie, but it's very rewatchable.
Yeah, I've come around on That's My Boy because the first time that I saw it was when we did the audio commentary for it, and I rewatched it after that. Just to watch it, and I don't know. I've come to your point of view on it. It's kind of a guilty pleasure movie, I guess. It's not a great film, but there are funny parts about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny parts in there that make it worth watching. And
yep.
I don't know if I like it like legitimately or ironically, but I mean, I'll watch it especially when I drink heavily. That's my go-to.
Yeah, I've heard from a couple people whose opinions I respect that said this was their review of Murder Mystery. It's not bad. It's not terrible. So it's like a middling movie. So I might watch it at some point.
Yeah, I feel that's how all those movies are. They're like, it's okay. It's not bad enough to make you hate it, but not good enough to make you like it. It's like, I guess it was
I don't think he's ever dipped as far as he did with Jack and Jill, though. Ugh.
And isn't Al Pacino in that movie?
Yes.
Wow. I haven't seen it, but I imagine it's a low for both of them.
Oh, absolutely. Ugh,
I saw part of Sandy Wexler. It was okay. I know it got pretty decent reviews, but I didn't see the whole thing. It wasn't super interesting.
Yeah, well, that's Adam Sandler now. But still incredibly popular for some reason. I don't know why. But
so I'd love to see how Netflix comes by those numbers because there's something weird going on there. Like they estimated that if the viewership was like the typical $9 movie ticket, it would be like $120 million opening.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. No one had to pay any extra money for this other than their Netflix subscription.
Right. And who's to say what they identify as a view? Is it 50% of the movie? Is it 5 minutes? Is it the whole thing?
Right.
You have to watch the credits. I mean, they're not. At some point, I think they're going to have to be much more transparent with their numbers. Like probably especially with all the competing streaming services, they'll probably have like some like independent body that'll view through the data and say like, oh, you actually only had 15 million, which is still a lot, obviously. But
right.
I just find it very hard to believe that an Adam Sandler movie released in 2019 on Netflix alone would garner 30 million views. That seems kind of high.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a lot of people were high, and that's why they clicked on it. I don't know. But the last bit of news that I have today is that one of those kids from Stranger Things, the one with no front teeth, or he's got front teeth now, but he didn't. I don't know, whatever. That kid. He's apparently he thinks it's 2005 because he's doing a prank show, and the prank show that he's doing sounds absolutely hilarious. It's for people who are looking for work. So what they do is they pretend that they've got them, a part-time job. They go in and start working, and they make it like the job from hell. That's the premise of this prank show. So poor people that are looking for work, and made to feel miserable. Sounds like a laugh riot.
See, I'm a little unsure as to whether this is as cruel as everybody is saying. Because the fact that it's a part-time job, I wonder if it's like a temporary, like one-day job, sort of thing. If that's the case, then I think it's perfectly excusable.
Yeah, and my guess is they're going to give money. That's my
guess. Well,
guess.
yeah, I'm sure they will. But I'm saying the whole description, it sounds. I mean, first of all, part-time job. It's not. I don't think the person's relying on this to be like their full-time thing. I mean, I wonder if they think like it's like 20. I mean, that's that's kind of cruel. Obviously, I mean, not everyone's a actor from the age of like 13 or whatever.
Right.
I mean, my guess is, and I think Netflix is probably just going to let this boil for a bit to get some free press. My guess is that you'll ultimately find out that they are only contracted for like maybe a week's work or so, and Netflix probably pays them out, or even if that's not the case, they eventually will, just to combat the bad press. I really don't think this is as cruel as people. I'm guessing at least that it won't be as cruel as people think it was, because Netflix has to have people in place that will recognize the reaction from a show that has a premise that everybody thinks it has.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine they're that stupid. I mean, they seem to be a pretty shrewd, company. I can't imagine they're like, oh, this will make sense.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's probably, when I first saw the headline, I think it was maybe a Washington Post headline, or I don't know, something like that. But
Gossip.
Yeah, it was the Gossip headline. But they said that it was like, oh, you could tell that they were very against this. And then I read the actual story about it, and I was like, oh, this doesn't sound quite as bad as they make it seem. So I still think it's not the best idea in the world. Well, a prank show in 2019 anyway is probably not the best idea in the world, unless Jamie Kennedy's doing it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I kind of side with you, where I'll wait and see. But I'll probably not. To be honest, I'll probably never watch it. But I'm guessing that it's not going to be as bad as everyone seems to think it is.
Yeah, that's my guess, but I could be wrong.
Oh, all right. So, educating Mike for today. Mike, I have found this, and I've seen this movie. A lot of times, I haven't seen the movie either when we're talking about it, because I've seen a lot of terrible movies, but I don't want to watch, a ton of them. But this one I actually have seen. It used to be on YouTube. I don't know if it still is, but it is called Birdemic: Shock and Terror. Have you heard of this movie, Mike?
I have not.
It's one of those kind of legendary bad movies, and supposedly it's supposed to be made to be bad, but I don't think it's made to be bad in any way. I think this guy is just inept. It's described as an independent romantic horror film, written, directed, and produced by James Wynn, and starring Alan Baugh and Whitney Moore.
Wait, that name sounds familiar. James Wynn? Mm-hmm. You're thinking of Steve Wynn?
No, he's not related to Steve Wynn. Spelled differently. It's the Vietnamese.
W-I-N-N?
Yeah.
N-G-U-Y-N. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Vietnamese Wynn. But yeah, so far, all I can see that he's known for is Birdemic and Birdemic 2. But anyway, so Rod, played by Alan Baugh, is a young software salesman living a successful life in Silicon Valley. And it's funny too, because at the beginning, it looks like the receptionist's area of a dentist's office. That's supposed to be his work area where a bunch of other people are there, but there's only like 2 desks, but there's a bunch of other people in there. And he says, he says something like, okay, you want, he's trying to sell somebody something. He's like, oh, you want, this order? Okay, great. Hey guys, this is exactly how he says it too. Hey guys, I just made the big sale, and everyone starts cheering and high fives him. And he says, the guy says, his boss says he's going to give him a Lamborghini, I think, or something like that, for making this sale. And it's the acting and the effects are absolutely terrible. But he meets up with an old classmate, an aspiring fashion model, Natalie, and begins dating her. They go on one date where they walk to a restaurant and then they talk about. I think they go to see An Inconvenient Truth. Is the movie they go to see, and they talk about it afterwards. It is hilarious. As you'll find out, there's a global warming kind of subplot to this film. As things go on, you see they go to this crummy motel room. This guy that's supposed to be a millionaire, but he takes her to like a Motel 6 to have sex. They wake up and they find that their town is under attack from eagles and vultures, and the birds spit acid and explode into flames as soon as they strike the ground. It looks like the effects were made in MS Paint. I mean, it's really that bad. But anyway, so they've been mutated due to global warming. That's why I don't know exactly how global warming would mutate birds to spit acid and burst into flames upon hitting the ground, but that's the explanation. So
it would take a while to happen. Mutate.
Yeah, no kidding. But Rod and Natalie escape the motel, and they join up with an ex-Marine named Ramsey and his girlfriend Becky. As they leave town, they rescue two young children, Susan and Tony, whose parents have been killed by the birds. There's a scene, too, where they take out these very clearly fake guns, and it looks like they're playing Duck Hunt with how fake these birds look. And they're just standing in front of a school bus that's clearly green screened behind them. This movie is just fucking. It's a nightmare. But anyway, so they end up. I think Ramsey and his girlfriend get killed. Natalie and Rod end up taking the kids. They meet a tree hugger, quote unquote, named Tom Hill, who talks to them about the dangers of global warming. And after escaping a forest fire, they settle on a small beach where Rod fishes for dinner. As they prepare to eat, they are attacked by the birds, but then doves appear. Doves just appear out of nowhere, and all the birds leave in peace. And the film ends with them watching the birds flying towards the horizon. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. So the parents' guide for Birdemic. Let me see. Yeah, let me make sure I'm on the right one because I've got other parents' guide open for our game. One character remarks, "A day without sex is a day wasted," and wishes a friend luck in convincing his girlfriend to have intercourse, who then chides him for his views on relationships. A man's neck is sliced by a swooping bird, looks almost intentionally fake. I love when the parents' guide just completely buries a film.
Great.
Corpses are shown with blood effects from a Halloween makeup kit. These wounds only look somewhat realistic. Profanity. An existing profanity review here is one of the worst ever written, totally worthy of this movie. Several uses of feces along with other milder profanities. Fornicate is used once, possibly twice. You don't know? As one is used in an exasperated sigh, and is hard to make out. Neither uses are in a sexual manner. Frightening and intense scenes. Very young children, 3 to 6, may be frightened by the loud and high-pitched shrieks of the attacking birds and the bloody makeup on corpses. Children over 10 years old will probably notice the effects in the movie are very poor quality and probably won't be too moved by character deaths. So if you're 10 or over, it's probably not going to fool you. The birds in one scene are seen bombing a town, but it's so fake and so laughable. Two children are briefly shown lamenting the death of their parents from the bird attacks, but in the next scene, and for the rest of the movie, they act as if the previous scene never happened. Oh, so that is Birdemic, Shock and Terror. Go out and see it. It's I think it's still available on YouTube, and it's worth, at least fast forwarding a little bit through. It's terrible, but somewhat worth it. Oh, Mike, you gonna go check out Birdemic?
No, maybe Birdemic 2, though.
Yeah, I'd like to see what happened to those doves. So now we will move on to our segments, keeping current with Mike. Mike, we are frantically going through as many of these online gossipy type shows or, news magazines, whatever you want to call them. Where are we going to this week?
Yeah, it's I'm running out of options, in all honesty.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this website used to be called something else, so like The Rapper, maybe? Mm-hmm. WRAPPR, but now it's called Too Fab. Are you familiar with Too Fab, Mark? TOO, not TWO, of course.
No, I've never heard of Too Fab.
Well, you're in for a treat.
All right, let's lay it on me.
I realize that the key to this segment is not to do them straight in order. I'm just going to cherry pick the ones that I think are most interesting.
Okay.
So here we go.
I got Google ready.
All right, this first one is Erica snaps on Kyle and Teddy during boozy dinner. No idea. It says Real House, RHOBH, which I think by now I've learned is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, is my guess.
Okay. Let's see. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are, and I've never watched any of the Real Housewives shows, and so I haven't watched Beverly Hills. Let's see. Oh yes, RHOBH is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, an American reality television series that premiered on October 14th, 2010 on Bravo. Let's see.
Jeez, 2010?
Yeah, it's been out for 9 years.
Why?
I have no idea. Season 1 through 4 was Kyle Richards. That's a girl. Adrian Malouf. I've heard of Malouf. That's they own the Palms Casino. Interesting. Kim Richards, who was a former child actress and TV personality.
Really? Who, like, would I know it or no?
Let's see. She looks somewhat familiar, so let's see what she was on. The Nanny. Oh, wow. Because this is going back. The Nanny and the Professor. Let's see. She was in several incarnations of Nanny and the Professor. Police Story from 1974. Little House on the Prairie. That's where I recognize her from. She was on an episode of Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, just one episode? Yeah, I don't know.
She was on Chips.
Jeez.
Let's see. Was she a series? Oh, she was a series.
Well, everyone knows no one made money during the 70s in TV, especially if you were a child actor. So I don't know how she's on this show.
She was on the show Hello, Larry with McLean Stevenson after the MASH. She was a regular on that. She also played Ruthie Adler on 3 episodes of Different Strokes.
Again, I don't know how a child actress would have any money.
Return from Witch Mountain. She was in that. It just says, because like all the television shows, it says how many episodes she was in and everything. For this, it says major film. Apparently, Return from Witch Mountain is a major film.
I guess.
Not, but yeah, Nanny and the Professor, when she was a little girl, that's what she's famous for.
Sure. This lady snaps on Kyle, who might be a woman, I don't know, and Teddy, which also might be a woman. Everybody in this picture is a woman.
Well, I'm guessing Kyle is then Kyle Egon Richards, an American actress and socialite, television personality, memoirist, and philanthropist.
Yeah, I don't care.
She was also on Little House on the Prairie. What the fuck?
Jeez. Was she Nellie Olson?
Let's see. I will tell you in 1 second. That would be hilarious if she was. Let's see. Little House on the Prairie. She was Alicia Sanderson Edwards Samantha. I guess Samantha was her character name?
I guess.
I don't know. She was in 19
Yeah.
episodes of Little House on the Prairie.
Jeez, that's a lot. I probably would recognize her. I watched that show a lot.
Yeah, don't know who she is, but I'm guessing that's who. What are the other names? Erica.
Erica, Kyle, and Teddy.
Teddy. So where is Teddy? I don't know. Erica seems like it's probably Erica Girardi, known professionally as Erica Jane, an American singer and actress. Her debut single "Roller Coaster" topped the U.S. Billboard Dance Club charts in 2007. Okay, never heard of her.
Yeah, I'm already over this story. It's just dumb. I don't care about these people. I don't care if they drink, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care either.
All right, then this next story, maybe you can help me with. I know I know a little bit about this.
Okay.
Bella Thorne lashes out at Whoopi for claiming nude photo leak was her own fault.
Okay,
Now,
so
I've heard the name Bella Thorne. I have no idea who this is. I know Whoopi is almost certainly Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, I don't know of any other Whoopies in the entertainment business.
yeah, I don't know what other Whoopies would be out there. I do know who Bella
Is that
Thorne
like fucking?
is. What?
Whoopi, is that like fucking?
Right, exactly. Bella Thorne was in a TV show that my oldest daughter used to watch called Shake It Up. Yeah, that's what it's called, Shake It Up. She's a redheaded actress. I think she's been in other things since then. I mean, this was when Ava, my oldest, was probably 7 maybe or whatever. So this was a few years ago. Let me see. Let me look her up. Shake It Up. She was in an episode of Big Love. That's interesting. I used to watch that show, but I stopped watching it after a while. So I guess I missed when she was on it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. 2010 to 2013. She was in Shake It Up as one of the. It was her and she was in the I think her name's Zendaya. She was in that P.T. Barnum He Didn't Really Murder Elephants movie. I can't remember what it's called.
Dude, the Showman?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was those two in that show. And it looks like she's actually worked a lot since then.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at the pictures because, who doesn't want to see nude breasts?
Right.
They're okay.
I haven't seen.
I don't know why.
I didn't know there was a nude leak. I haven't seen.
I think like someone like threatened to hack her or something. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, I'll just post it myself," whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I assume in a way it's her own fault. As unpopular as it is to say, I mean, if you're using stuff on the internet, use very basic security protocols, and you won't have any nude leaks at all. Have a password that's maybe not like your name or your birthday or something.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing. I mean, I guess people should be allowed to have their own privacy and all that stuff. Agree with that. But I just be smart. Why are you taking nude pictures of yourself on your phone? You can do it obviously if you want to, but you have to.
I go to glamour shots for that personally.
Right. You have to accept the responsibilities for it, I guess. Like you're rich, buy a digital camera or something like that can't be hacked into, that's not connected to the internet. I mean, that's my advice. Now,
actually, neither of us are saying that it's her fault because no one should have their privacy violated. But I mean, in a way, I'm sure this is what Whoopi is saying, that you need to take extra precautions because of your status or your celebrity, whatever it is. I mean, people are going to be more likely trying to get your new.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't the case, but it is, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Not bad, like you said. Apparently, she has a nipple piercing. That's cool. And this is on her Twitter account, so I guess Twitter's just cool with this.
Yeah, you can find a nude pic. Twitter does not seem to mind as long as you post your own nudes.
That is interesting to me. But
there's a thing called like Free the Nipple or something a few years ago, where like a lot of women would just like take topless photos of themselves, and I'm like, yeah, feminism.
So I kind of respect the shit out of her for this. Like, I never really had opinion on her one way or the other because, like I said, my daughter watched that show, and I think I might have watched 5 minutes of it every once in a while. But it's not. I didn't watch it with her. I just kind of looked at it for a minute to make sure it wasn't something horrible that she shouldn't be watching. But she posted the entire. Well, I don't know if this is the entire, but she posted the chain of things where whoever this is sending her nude pictures through, text messaging and saying, basically saying, hey, I'm going to post these if you don't give, I got all these videos. I'm going to post these if you don't give me money and stuff. And basically, her response is just like, no, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing it.
And I hope the person who did this is, tracked down and, prosecuted to the full extent of the law, because
absolutely
that's just a fucking thing to do in general. But I mean, basic internet. I mean, the internet's been around for a good 26 years, maybe now.
Yep.
That people have been able to easily go online with AOL and Prodigy and that kind of stuff. I mean, basic security precautions is all I'm saying.
Yeah, women out there, because this doesn't seem to be a problem with men, but women out there, stay safe and use security precautions. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what Whoopi Goldberg said, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's, quote, her fault.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg seems to really speak from the heart a lot of times. She says stuff that's controversial, even if, she doesn't, even if it's detrimental to her. I think she vocally supported Bill Cosby and may even still do so. I mean, that's not the opinion I would take, but I respect the fact that she'll say her own opinion without being, compromised or micromanaged or focus grouped into having the correct opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I like Whoopi. So
and why did she not make more movies? She's an amazing actress.
She is so good. Such a good actress.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
All right, one last story here. Teenager jailed after racist Meghan Markle post. Now, I know who this Meghan Markle is, married to the King of England or something, or his brother, or I don't know, something.
Yeah, she's the one that's married to the brother, I think.
I think she had a baby, or she's going to have a baby. I'm not really.
Yeah, she might have already been born. Not sure.
I'm not really sure, but I mean, I think it goes without saying that racism is horrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be jailed after a post, I assume it's on Twitter or Facebook, that's ridiculous.
Agreed. I absolutely agree.
I mean, I obviously don't condone such horrible shit. I mean, it's you're a backward, probably an idiot, I mean, at best you're an idiot. At worst, you're just a malevolent personality that, probably should be put to death to not, infect other, either easily impressionable or just other idiots out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, to jail somebody after a post like that, I didn't see the details. I mean, I'm sure it's not pleasant, but jail time? I mean, you should be able to say whatever you want without being jailed. Obviously, the exception and a threat or something like that, you can't threaten somebody.
Right.
And then, I mean, that's assault in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, just to make a racist post referencing someone, I mean, I hope that wouldn't happen in America, but I'm not surprised if it does.
Yeah, I think she's black, right? Or she's half black or something?
I think she's half black.
So I guess that's, I would assume that's, I mean, I haven't seen the story, so I don't know. But I would assume that's where the racism is from, is to the fact that she is a biracial person. I totally agree with you. I think, I think you and I are in lockstep. We don't always agree politically, I'm sure, but I think you and I are in lockstep when it comes to stuff like this, because both of us, I know, think that racism is dumb and stupid and things that people shouldn't do. But I think both of us also believe and agree with each other in the fact that freedom of speech means also defending speech you don't like, speech that isn't popular,
sure.
Speech that doesn't reflect your own personal beliefs.
Pretty much all speech I hear is contrary to my personal beliefs. I almost never hear anyone that agrees with me. I mean, what's the difference between not liking the same band I like to not liking, I guess multicultural, situations? Mm-hmm. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, obviously everyone who is contrary to me is wrong, But I mean, what does it matter if they're wrong about the best band out there? I mean, it's speech, and punishing somebody for this, that's just going to affirm their own beliefs. Like, oh, well, it's me against them now. I'm going to go to Sweden and kill a bunch of kids on an island, or
Right.
I'm going to blow up a federal building in Oklahoma. I mean, not that I'm saying I'm not saying that this directly leads to terrorist acts like that, but I mean, at the same time, it's not helping. I mean, these people should be left in the wind to confront their own beliefs and have other people talk to them, and maybe they'll actually learn something. Putting them in jail is only like just putting them up against a wall to really make them. I mean, what, they're going to join a white supremacist gang in prison, and that's going to help?
Right, exactly. And it's ridiculous. The people that do this, I would rather that people post stuff like this so you know what they really think.
I want to know who the idiots are.
Exactly.
I don't want them to be hidden. I don't want them to be taken. I mean, I want to. If you believe something that I don't believe, let me know. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't have to agree with everything every person says or.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are, like you said, if Nazis are marching through the center of a town saying they want to take over America, kill everyone that's there, and stuff like that, and they're armed or whatever, that's one thing. That's a situation that you need to take seriously. But I'll give a really good example. The Westboro Baptist Church that protested at servicemen who died's funeral, saying that they died because America supports homosexuality, God hates fags, and all this stuff. I think those people are some of the most reprehensible human beings on the planet. But I support their First Amendment right to be on public property. Because they're not on. They always do it on public property and not private property. To be on public property with those signs, I don't agree with you, but what am I going to do? If I take that right away from you, then what's to stop the government from taking my rights away from me? It's you can't. That's a slippery slope. You can't go down that path.
Exactly.
Well, that was that was a very funny segment of keeping current with Mike. So now we will move on to the parents' guide. I pulled up two. I've got two now to do. So I'll go first this time because you went first last time, and we will see what we see here. For those of you that don't know, or so since the segment is somewhat new, this is the game where Mike and I go back and forth reading the Parents' Guide, the most generic things we can find on the Parents' Guide, and see if the other one can guess the movie. So under sex and nudity, extremely graphic sexual references.
I'm going to guess The Running Man.
Nope.
A brief implied sexual encounter. Very mild.
A brief implied sexual encounter, very mild. Implied. So I will say it is 16 Candles.
No.
Okay. Still in sex and nudity. In a deleted scene, two women kiss.
Mallrats.
Nope.
A gun is shown, but not used. A woman is beaten. This is comedic.
A gun is shown, but not used, and a woman is beaten. This is comedic.
Yes, and believe me, when you discover the title of this movie, you will go insane.
Okay. Woman is beaten in a comedic way, and a gun is shown but not used.
There's a lot of hilarious wife beating, scenes you have to kind of parse out here.
Right. Dogma?
No.
All right. So this is under profanity. I'm going to give you both of the ones under profanity because the first one's really short. 3 uses of retard, 248 uses of fuck, and lots of uses of words shit and ass, Also, lots of slang words and proper words for female and male genitals and chests, such as boobs, pussy, dick.
Pulp Fiction?
No?
All right, I'm almost out of clues here, so I don't know what we do when we run out, but I have like 2 more.
Is this the one that just has 4? Okay.
There's like 5, yeah.
All right.
At least 5 uses of "oh my god" as exclamations. Use of trailer trash and brown noser as description.
Oh, is it, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Nope.
Damn it. Okay. This one I think might give it to you. A man in a kid's character costume on a movie set gets shot by a cop in the chest and falls over.
Chainsaw Bob Strike Back.
Yep. That's correct. When you said Mallrats, it took everything I had to not say, "Oh, you're so close." All right. Let's finish out this one, and then we'll move on to the next one.
All right. Many people are shown briefly drinking and smoking in the background. That's the last clue I have. Let me double check, but I think that's all I have.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so let's review. People are shown drinking and smoking in the background. There's a gun shown, but it's never used. A woman gets beat up, and it's supposed to be comedic, apparently. And I can't remember the other clue.
It's like profanity and stuff.
Shit, I mean, I don't know.
Here's another clue. This movie is rated PG.
PG?
And it came out in 2003.
2003 PG movie. Fuck, PG. Was beaten up. Fuck, I don't know. Cop and a Half?
Well, that's way before 2003.
Yeah.
Here's another big clue. You saw this movie all by yourself.
Oh, man. All by myself. Oh, I think, is there a gun in that movie? I think I saw, no, because there would be more, well, maybe. American Pie 2?
Based off a popular Nickelodeon series.
Oh, Agent Cody Banks?
The Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, is there a gun in that movie?
That's what I am an adult man. I've never seen it.
I think, no, I saw it with Becky.
Sure.
No, I did. I really did. She went to the movie theater with me.
Was it her idea?
No, but she did go to the movie theater. I don't remember a gun in that movie. It's comedic when a woman gets beat up. Oh, it's been too long. The only time I saw the movie, I know you won't believe this, but the only time I saw the movie was that one time in the theater, so I don't remember. But yeah, there was also one other guy there was also one other guy just by himself in the movie theater, and I don't know, I started to feel creepy. Oh, wow, the Lizzie McGuire movie. That was a good one, for sure.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I'm going to drop a major clue on this one. Mm-hmm. You and I saw this movie together in the theater.
Okay.
The first clue is that we see a man's buttocks for a few seconds in a non-sexual context.
Well, that's got to be Mallrats.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't think we saw Mallrats together.
No,
in the theater.
Not in the theater, no. All right, let's see. I gotta find a good one. Can't do that one. A man spits his beverage on the chest and lap of a woman sitting next to him.
Beer Fest?
No. All right, go ahead.
A man takes a hit from a bong in front of 2 police officers during a questioning.
Oh man, this should give it to me, I would think. Hit from a bong. 2 police during questioning. Bad Boys?
No, I don't think we saw that together in theaters.
Oh, I thought we did.
I think it was like Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, maybe Bad Boys 2. Yeah, it could have been. Okay. A lot of sexual references and brief nudity, buttocks and breasts.
Super Troopers?
No? I think I'm out of ones that won't let you absolutely get it, but...
A man tries to smoke marijuana through a shotgun barrel in a brief flashback.
Shotgun barrel. And we saw this in the theater together.
Yep.
Wow, okay, so there's lots of drug stuff going on. Through a shotgun barrel. I feel like I should know this.
I also feel like you should.
Let's see. Being questioned by cops, shotgun barrel, man's buttocks in a non-sexual manner. Had to have come out a while ago if we saw it in the theater together too. I don't see every movie that I can think of. I'm like, no, we didn't see that in the theater together. Damn it. Oh, did we see that together in the theater? Maybe. Scary Movie?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna try to give you one more that'll be hard, and then I'm out of ones. There's a lot on here too, by the way.
Sure.
Okay. The main character is almost always seen drinking alcohol.
Is this Ocean's 11?
No,
Ocean's 12.
no, none of the Ocean's movies. Oh wait, it's Ocean's 8. No, I'm just joking.
All right, this should definitely be more helpful for you. A suspect fleeing from an officer stabs another officer on the neck with a drug syringe. He ODs as a result.
A suspect fleeing from an officer stabs another officer in the neck with a drug syringe, and he ODs. Oh, Training Day?
Nope.
Damn it. All right. Let's see. A grandma in an old-timey bathing suit promises to ride a
that's
man
my boy.
like a Model T Ford. Yep, that's right. All
Hey,
right,
Dick.
give me one more, and we'll see if I can get it.
A main character furiously beats suspects in two scenes. We see their very bloody faces afterwards in one of them. The other one is
The other one is what?
more brief.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so it's about police, and there's drugs, and we saw it together in the movie theater. And
We sure did.
Oh, damn. God, I cannot think of this. Give me one more. Give me one more, like, obvious one.
I'll give you a clue that's not on here. It's set in Detroit.
It's set in Detroit. Set in Detroit. Okay, what movies are set in Detroit? Oh, I know what it is. Wait, there's a scene in that movie where he's shown trying to. I don't remember that. 8 Mile?
No.
Oh, fuck.
The star of the movie is Ray Liotta.
Oh, wait a second. I didn't see this movie.
Oh, you didn't?
No wonder I can't fucking... So, what the hell was that movie called that I walked out on?
You were there with me in the theater. You saw it.
Give me a second. What was it called?
You may have missed something in it.
Yeah, I missed a lot of the movie. Let's see. So that must have been shit, what was it called?
Mark, don't be such a
Narc. All right. Well, I got it, even though I've never seen the movie.
You were there with me in the theater.
I was there with you. I think I saw the Amistad, the Amistad, movie trivia thing with you. Oh God, that is hilarious. Real quick before we end this segment, I was looking up like funny IMDb stuff, Parents Guide stuff. Apparently, I don't know if they allow people to do this anymore, but there was a rash of people just uploading or putting in whatever they wanted for the Parents Guide. And there's always like when you see one, it always says the contents of this page were created directly by users and has not been screened or verified by IMDb staff. So once they see this stuff, obviously they get rid of it. But people took some screenshots of things. So here's one for the Parents Guide for Caillou. Are you familiar with
Caillou.
Caillou, the Caillou TV show?
Unfortunately, I was quite familiar with it for a while. One of my daughters was really into the show, and it's the worst show I've ever.
So, sex and nudity. Some scenes of Caillou taking baths and dressing himself. In later episodes, Caillou goes insane and rapes his mother and sister repeatedly. The father catches them quite often and does nothing to stop it, occasionally joining them. Violence and gore. Caillou often gets into physical fights with his sister. In one episode, Caillou finds a dead bird.
That's true.
Profanity. Caillou says swear words such as fuck, ass, motherfucker, shit, gay, and faggot throughout every episode.
He does.
Drugs and alcohol. It just says Caillou smokes crack. Frightening and intense scenes. Parents everywhere should know that this show teaches very bad behavior. Caillou whines, cries, throws tantrum, and abuses his little sister. His parents spoil him, and they don't really punish Caillou that much. His behavior is selfish, and although he usually learns his lesson by the end of the episode, it has little impact on his behavior in future episodes. Unless you want your kids emulating Caillou and throwing huge tantrums like him, make sure they don't see this. And then underneath that, in one episode, Caillou imagines monsters under his bed.
Yeah, that show is really bad. It is very the main character is whiny and it's just wow, it's bad. And then he smokes crack.
Yeah, that's true. The other one that's on here that's pretty funny is Air Bud 3. Sex and nudity. During opening credits, a neighbor is seen nude with his erect penis through the bathroom window.
What?
Many of the puppies have erect penises throughout.
Probably do.
The mother character at one point flashes her breasts at her sons to show them how 2 is always better than 1.
What? That was just inspired.
Little black boy has sex with Air Bud in a deleted scene. Violence and gore. The father character snaps Air Bud's neck at the end of the movie.
By Michael Vick.
Footage of the Holocaust periodically are shown in an attempt to show who Air Bud's grandparents were, parentheses, Adolf Hitler's dogs.
See again, a user theory makes a movie better.
An elderly woman gets hit by a car. Blood sprays on the whole soccer team as they are eating outside of a Burger King.
I think that was true. I like to think it is.
Profanity. The dad calls his daughter a chicken fucking bitch. Air Bud is taught how to say ball sucking N-word.
Jeez.
And then alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Air Bud smokes marijuana.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's an athlete.
Yep. Oh, so that's our game for the week. Two inspired choices, Mike.
Thank you.
So now we will move on to our main topic, which is Good Omens episode 3.
Gooder Omens.
Yeah, Mike, what did you think of this episode?
I like this episode. It was fun. I kind of wish the opening part had been the entire episode, where they're just kind of going through different periods of history, and they just keep encountering each other.
Yeah, that was a really cool way to open the show, I thought, where, like you said, they go through, they start back basically at the beginning, and then they just go throughout history, and they keep encountering each other, and it's a really fun and interesting way to see how their relationship developed over the years.
Yeah, it's just a really good buddy comedy going on at this point. We see them at the very beginning. We see them in the, I think it's 1400s, where they kind of come to an agreement, hey, no one's really checking on us. I'll vouch for you, you vouch for me, and we'll do whatever we want. And it works perfectly because Crowley is 100% correct. No one cares. I mean, in the heaven or the hell, no one there is keeping count of them. No,
yeah, they're not at all. And I like the point of view of that God exists and all this stuff exists, but they just don't care at all. And that's why all this terrible stuff happens. And human beings are by their nature just violent. Maybe because he gave the flaming sword to them. I don't know.
Could be.
But I really liked this, and Carol was watching it with me, and she at one point she was like, "Are they in love?" I think they might be maybe leaning towards that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely implied. And I've watched further in the series than you have, and there's definitely a lot of people think that it's just a romantic story. I mean, I don't know. I've never really seen enough evidence for that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe when I finally finish it, maybe I'll in fact see that as well.
And one thing I'm going to kind of skip towards the end, I guess, a little bit, but one thing that I thought was really interesting and funny is in the previous episode, both Crowley and Aziraphale say that they have a network of human beings that they work with, and they'll both contact their network and see if they can help track down the Antichrist. And we find at the end of this episode that the network that they have is both of them is Michael McKean.
Right.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But I enjoyed this episode a lot. I really liked the opening. Like you said, I liked it. It's hard to call it an opening because it was about half the episode.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes or so, yeah.
And they do I think I'm trying to remember when it started. I think it was maybe the 1800s or something like that. Where
it starts way before that because at one point they're at the crucifixion.
No, I mean when Crowley asks Aziraphale for holy water.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was thinking about the beginning of the the whole flashbacks.
Yeah, I think he that's when he first starts asking him about it, and then he first comes into contact with Michael McKean's character in the 60s when he hires him and a couple other people to steal some holy water from a church, and Aziraphale finally just relents and gives him some. But you can tell he's genuinely scared for him because he's like, this will destroy you if you touch it, and he didn't want him to have it because of that, because he really cares about him. And you can see how Crowley's not very good at being a demon. and Aziraphale's not very good at being a human being. They're both not as good or as bad as you would expect an angel or a demon to be. But yeah, as you pointed out, it starts like right at the beginning. God's like, Aziraphale, what did you do with the flaming sword I gave you? And he's like, oh, I put it around here somewhere, I thought, And yeah, they're at the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And I thought it was that scene was very funny to me too, where Aziraphale says to Crowley, "Did you ever talk to him?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I took him around to all the all the 7 continents or something like that to see the world." And he's like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, he's the son of a carpenter." In the Middle East, his travel options are limited.
Right.
And he says, "What did he do to make people so mad anyway?" And Aziraphale says he told people to be good to each other. And Crowley's like, "Oh yeah, that'll do it."
Right. Yeah, it's like an old George Carlin joke about about Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. How they tried to and I think Jesus is in the joke as well. Like how they tried to save the world, and of course we did what we had to do. We killed them.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so that whole sequence I thought was excellent, and like I said before, they really did the job of building those characters and building that relationship over time with those like incremental steps and showing.
Yeah, there's a lot of
go ahead.
A lot of funny sequences in that, like during the French Revolution. We found out that Aziraphale kind of just teleported over to France to get a decent breakfast.
Yeah, crepes.
Crepes, yeah,
and brioche.
Yeah, and then they basically arrested him and they were about to execute him, and there's a lot of references them both doing miracles that maybe a little more than they should have. We kind of get the idea that they would be kind of more laid back, I'll just do a miracle to get coffee instead of go out to get it. And so in a nice little twist, Aziraphale turns the executor who's bragged about doing 999 executions so far into a nobleman himself. So he's arrested and Aziraphale is just left to his own devices, and then he and Crowley go and get
Yeah. And it's funny because you can tell that, and maybe this is part of how their relationship builds, but Crowley saves Aziraphale several times during World War II as well.
Yeah.
But
Aziraphale kind of bumbles into things, and Crowley, a little more sophisticated and clever, just shows up to save him at the last minute.
Yeah. During World War II, the Blitz is going on, and he's delivering books to Nazis, and a woman comes up and he basically says, we've caught you. She works for British intelligence, and we knew you were Nazi spies the entire time. You're going to be arrested now and executed or whatever. And she ends up turning the gun on him because...
It was a very Indiana Jones-esque twist.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's working with them as well. She's also a Nazi, and they just wanted the books, and they're going to kill him and everything. And Aziraphale comes up, and he's hopping through the church, and he's like, consecrated ground. It's like walking on sand.
Crowley, yeah.
And so... he ends, he's like, basically says that he performed a miracle and that a bomb's going to land on that church instead of where it was supposed to go. And everyone that's not, doesn't have access to miracles or whatever is going to be dead. And so they obviously, enchant themselves so that they're not killed when the bomb drops. And then Aziraphale says, "Oh, I totally forgot about the books." And you can see Crowley had preserved them from getting destroyed too. So you can see that he understands what Aziraphale cares about and is mindful of that and considerate.
Right.
So that's a great touch too when it comes to their characters. And then after that opening, we move into what's her name? Miss Device. What's her first name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Anathema?
Yeah, and that's right. Anathema Device, right. She's still looking for Adam. she reveals that she can see auras around people, but she can't see his. And the voice of God informs us that the reason she can't see his aura is the same reason that if you're standing in the middle of Times Square, you can't see America. And we back up, and his aura goes like basically not all around the world, but a good portion of the part of the world that he's in, is covered by his aura. So I'm trying to think what else. Where do we go from here? I know she's upset. She's looking for her book, and Adam comes to find her. He also starts talking to her about witchcraft, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not a witch. I'm an occultist." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's okay." Right. And she gives him a bunch of magazines of hers that talk about the occult and things like that he starts to read. And we got a little bit of a glimpse in the last episode that his parents are sort of afraid of him, and they kind of have an inkling of maybe what he is. Not like, I'm sure neither of them are like, oh, he's the Antichrist, but he's sleeping, and the mom says, oh, he's so peaceful and like kind of sweet when he's sleeping. And the dad says, yeah, when he's sleeping. And there's a couple looks that they exchange with each other when he's talking about the things he's reading in these magazines that the dad thinks is, all bullocks. But, he says, no, it's true. They wouldn't print it in a magazine if it wasn't true. And there's some looks that they give each other where you can see that they're kind of afraid or concerned about him. Like they kind of sense something's up, you think. Did you get that sense, Mike?
Yeah, there's definitely like a weariness from them around him. Mm-hmm. Even amongst his friends, like they often describe him as being kind of weird, but he's just like has such a strong imagination. He likes inventing games for his friends and stuff. That's like their lure toward him for the most part.
Yeah. So from there, we kind of like Aziraphale and Crowley are trying to find the boy. Aziraphale's sort of, like he's got the phone number, so he knows the address. He basically knows exactly where this kid is. Crowley contacts Michael McKean and says, I know what town he's in, but I don't know exactly, where. And, send your best men there. And he's like, oh,
right.
I got just...
This is the guy he just met.
Yeah, exactly.
Though to be fair, that might be his only man.
Right. Except for the soup spoon and stuff like that. But yeah, we find out too. He's also double dipping. He's getting yearly salaries from these guys for their for his his organization here, and so he his Pulsiver, his guy there, is reading newspapers, and he kind of independently comes across the fact that this town here has perfect weather for whatever time of year it is. So whatever time of year it is, it's the most ideal weather for that time of year. It snowed on Christmas Eve for the last 12 years or something like that there.
Right.
And
11, yeah.
Yeah. And he's, he thinks that it's, it could be being influenced by witches and things like that. And at first, Michael McKean seems to kind of shrug it off. And then he says, hey, this city that you're talking about in this county, it wouldn't be, what's it called? Thadenfield? Is that what it is? Or something like that?
I don't remember.
But it's something like that. And he's like, yeah, how'd you know that? And so, it's clear he's going to send him there to kind of check things out. And I mean, I think that's about all that happens in the episode that I can think of.
Another important part is we meet another one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, which is Famine.
That's right. Yeah,
and I think it's a really interesting take on it because I've thought about this for years. Like he's basically like at a McDonald's type restaurant or like some kind of chain restaurant, and like he's talking about like how he's giving the people food, and he basically reveals that all the stuff they consider food is actually not food. It's like some kind of artificial process type thing. Which, when you think about it, a lot of the food that people eat in general is not actually food. It's just like a process. It's something that's edible, not really food. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's created like the ultimate in this where there's no food content in it at all. And
there's like no nutritional value to it.
Yeah. And, it makes sense for famine. It's a really interesting idea, like you said, as far as famine goes. At one point, when they first show him, he's at a restaurant with his little assistant there, and they deliver this food, and it's like the smallest portions of anything ever. And the waiter says, the chef suggests that you start with this first. It's the first course or whatever. A bag of air, lavender scented air, and he just blows in her face. It's so ridiculous, but yeah, that's and then obviously he gets his scales. The war has her sword. He gets his scales, and they're getting geared up, and he knows that it's time to go. And Aziraphale talks to Gabriel at one point. He goes to, I'm guessing it's heaven or a heaven-ish type place or purgatory.
Yeah, I think doesn't he go up the escalator?
Yeah. And he talks to him and he's like, hey, what if, just for instance, the boy that, we think is the Antichrist actually isn't the Antichrist, because the ambassador's going to this place in the Middle East where, it's prophesized that the Armageddon will begin and everything. And, they kind of laugh it off at first, and then he leaves. And then it seems like they take it a little more seriously, and Gabriel wants it looked into. So I think in the episodes to come, we're going to get some more interference from the other angels, because clearly they want this war to happen.
Yeah, they're itching for it to happen.
Yeah, they want this final battle to take place, because as Gabriel says, they rebelled, they were all expelled, but nothing was really settled. And I guess by settled he means they still exist or whatever. But yeah, so that's obviously coming as well. It's a dark comedy, so part of me thinks like, okay, well maybe they'll forestall the end of days in some way, but then another part of me is like, well, it's Neil Gaiman and Pratchett and I think they're just going to end the world at the end of this thing. That's sort of where I'm leaning to. It's funny. There's a interesting story about him. When he died, he had all of his previous work bulldozed and pulverized.
Right.
So I think they might just end up, ending the world at the end of this series. Which obviously makes sense. It's only 6 episodes. It's only going to be one season. So I'm fully open for that possibility. I don't think that will be the end of, Crowley and Aziraphale. I think they'll find a way out of it somehow. But I think that's what's going to end up happening, because they're the ones we're really rooting for. We don't have much of a vested interest in the actual human beings in the show.
Right.
Anything else about this episode that you found interesting?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, that is our episode for tonight. As always, you can find us, search Massive Late Fee, and you'll find our Twitter, our Facebook, our MySpace, all that stuff. You can email the show at massivelatefee@gmail.com. You can find Mike at late_Mike. You can find Retro Late Fee at retro_late fee on Twitter. And also check out the Patreon. These always come out early on Patreon for everyone, and there's bonus content from Retro Late Fee exclusively for people who are on Patreon. So check that out, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
See you later.